So today we're making asopao de camarones, okay? So it's a soup, but it's made with rice. So it's gonna be like a shrimp soupy rice, okay? So we're gonna have in our pot, we're gonna go ahead and just hit it with just a little bit of extra light tasting olive oil. Just a little bit. Not a lot. Secondly, we're gonna go ahead and go with what our all-purpose sofrito. This is homemade. For those that don't know what sofrito is a mixture of cilantro. Has got peppers, onions, garlic. It's got culantro or the flat leaf. It looks like a flat leaf type of cilantro. It's really, really good. Anyways, we are adding to this, as it's cooking, we're gonna add one of these sazons with culantro and achote because it gives it the color. We're gonna start doing this with a little bit of water, and we're gonna go ahead and get that going. Now we're gonna start adding our vegetables. So we're going to start by adding I'm gonna say about a quarter of a cup of diced onions. We're also gonna add carrots and celery, so our mirepoix. So that's what we're adding at the moment, and let this go for a minute. I'm hoping you guys can see what I'm doing here. And I'm also gonna chop up just maybe a piece of pepper and red and green pepper. And we're gonna also add that in there. Don't mind my dogs because they're driving me insane in the back. So what we're doing is we're adding this and we're gonna let it start to cook. It already looks really good. Now we're gonna be moving fast. I want to show you that on this side of my pot right here, I am making a shrimp stock with the shells of the shrimp. I also added the peel of the carrots and some celery, and whatever I use in here I'm using in there, just to remove all the taste out of the shrimp shells, and that's what I'm going to be using in the soup to give it even more flavor. Okay, now to this, at the moment we're going to add our shrimp, and I want you to see that I cut my shrimp in half the long way so you get more for your buck. Okay, so in the meantime, I want you to see that it is as soon as the shrimp start turning pink, I'm gonna add a diced potato. So we're gonna let that come to a boil. And while that comes to a boil, again, I'm going to add about a teaspoon of minced garlic. I might add more later. I am one of those people that really loves garlic. I love the garlic flavor. So as you can tell, it is doing this thing. See how the shrimp started to turn pink? Now at this point, I want to add my potatoes. It doesn't end there. Watch. I'm going to show you. I'm also going to take some tomato sauce, and I'm going to add some tomato sauce. What's the tomato sauce going to do? Well, the tomato sauce is going to help thicken this up. So look, there we go with that. Okay, now next is that I'm going to grab a sift, and I am going to go ahead and put my shrimp stock all in there. As you can tell, you're gonna see my shrimp shells, and that's what's in here. Automatically, it gives it the beautiful color. And now I am going to add some rice, which I'm gonna quickly rinse. And I'm adding this all together because I want the potato and the potato and the rice to cook together. Okay, now before I cover this, and as you can tell, it's really nice and hot. I'm gonna start adding flavors. What flavors? Well, that's up to you. I'm gonna tell you the flavors that I personally add. Okay. So number one, I'm gonna use some oregano that comes from my mother's garden. Okay, some oregano from my mama's garden. You could tell because it was my mother that handwrote it, and she did it and she sent it to me from Puerto Rico. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of cumin, and I'm also gonna go ahead and start it off by adding a handful of cilantro. And now look what I'm gonna do. Right now we're gonna let this continue to cook until the rice is soft. I am going to cover it. We're going to cover it until, well, as soon as I find my cover, I'm going to cover it, and we're going to continue to cook it until the rice is tender. So we're going to let this now cook in here until the rice is tender. At this point, it's been boiling now for about 10-15 minutes. You can tell the rice is open. It's not quite done yet. Still need to flavor, but I am going to add the rest of my cilantro. And I'm adding just a handful of cabbage, only because I think the cabbage gives it like a little bit of body, and honestly I like cabbage. Okay, look how pretty it is looking. Okay, now at this point I'm going to add adobo, so just all-purpose seasoning, and I'm going to go ahead and just give it a I do this to taste, so, and I'm also going to add some black pepper. And I'm going to taste it now. First of all, I'm going to add a little tiny bit more water because of the fact that the rice really soaks up a lot of the liquid. I'm also going to add a little bit more of this adobo because I had not added anything, so it was a little. You need the spice. Now, if you want it to be a little spicy, like spicy, first let's taste. Okay, it's a little better. We could add some sambal, or we could just add a little bit of gochujang, just a little bit. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna add a little bit of gochujang, which is hot pepper paste, which looks a little bit like this. And I'm gonna go ahead and just add about that much to it. Not too much because this is to feed certain people and they're not really fans of spicy foods. So we're gonna let me lower the temp, and we are going to cook this for, I'm gonna say, another 5 minutes. So our soup is ready. And I'm shutting it off. See, when I said it's like a soupy rice, that's what it is. And here you have the soup. So if you can see, we make some toast points. And these are just made with pita. And you serve it on the side. So there you go. My soup.